I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai and to all the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who have taught this truth in sincerity, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect as we are out here in Reading and starting a new channel. And well, today is a very special Sabbath, as well, this is one of the signs, because the last time they had a sign like this, we're dealing with a total eclipse of the sun, and yet it's a sign because the last time there was a full solar eclipse like this began World War II. So we're going to get that out of Joel chapter 2. Just give me a minute here. And it says, starting verse 1, "Blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain." That holy mountain is right here in North America, where you have the scattered sheep of Israel. You have confusion of faces like myself, who look like the other nations, who look like Edomites. And then you got, of course, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the 12 tribes of Israel today. So this holy mountain is we Hebrew Israelites. "Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness, of gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains." Right, and this is talking about that mushroom cloud, you know, the day of the Lord. You know, this is all in preparation for, because this day is coming quickly. You see everything that's happening, you know, the war increasing on Syria, and you see all these nations gathering together to make war against the whore, which is America, Babylon the Great, because they shall hate the whore and utterly burn her with fire. That's what this is talking about. "A great people and a strong, there hath not been even the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generation. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them as burneth. The land is the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them." Right, because when these nuclear missiles come and destroy America, Babylon the Great, there shall be no more. You know, you shall no longer hear the music inside Babylon. Merchants won't be able to trade with Babylon the Great no more. And the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be more painted, all faces shall gather darkness. They shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city," which that city is talking about America, Babylon the Great, "and shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars withdraw their shining." And part of the signs of this third woe coming is, in fact, this eclipse, which is today. You know, so the drums of war are beating, because Babylon the Great is about to be destroyed. It has everything to do with this unholy war against Syria, because and we'll bring that out also. Read out of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 17 verse 1. "The burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be a ruinous heap. The cities of Aroer are forsaken, they shall be they shall be for flocks, which shall lie down, and none shall make them afraid. Right, because America's about to destroy Damascus and is about to wage war against Bashar al-Assad. We know that they're doing this secretly and covertly, but they're going to do it on a much larger scale. The fortress shall also cease from Ephraim. Well, Ephraim, of course, is the northern tribes, northern Israel. And the kingdom from Damascus and the remnant of Syria, they shall be as the glory of the children of Israel, saith the Lord of hosts. And at that day, as when the harvestman gathereth the corn and reapeth the ears with his arm, as it shall be as gathereth ears in the valley of Rephaim. So again, you know, this is part of end times prophecy that Damascus is going to be destroyed. And we can see, though, that Babylon the Great, America has been making war with Damascus ever since the Obama administration, when he first took down Muammar Gaddafi. You know, eventually he pushed towards Syria. You know, and of course, you know, under the false pretenses of going after, you know, that there was supposedly Bashar al-Assad was using chemical weapons against his people, which we know that that's a lie also. But it talks more about this in Jeremiah 49 as we get more into this, and we see this, you know, first of all, well, you know who the tribe of Gad is. That's the Native Americans that were originally here, you know. Concerning the Ammonites, thus saith and this is Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 1. The Lord, hath Israel no sons? Hath he no hair? When they done, the king inherit Gad, and his people dwell in his cities. Again, this is talking about how the tribe of Gad was conquered and destroyed here in Babylon the Great. And then I'm going to jump down to verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will cause the calamity of Esau upon them, the time that I will visit them. If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, will they destroy till they have enough? But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. And we can see that that's happening now. America's being exposed for all their false pretenses, their false narrative of the war against ISIS, their, you know, and then all the ugliness that they can't hide anymore, you know, what they did to take down the tribe of Gad. No other nation has done this, you know, and they refer to us Israelites as the indigenous people. You know, the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that are here. You know, we're considered the, you know, they call us, you know, lots of names, you know, everything but Israelites. I'm going to jump down here to verse 23. Concerning Damascus, Hamath is confounded, and Arpad, for they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. There is sorrow on the sea. It cannot be quiet. Damascus is waxed feeble and turneth herself to flee, and fear has seized on her. Anguish and sorrows have taken her as a woman in travail. How is the city of praise not left, the city of my joy? Therefore her young men shall fall in her streets, and all the men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord of hosts. Again, this is talking about when, you know, all the nations come against Babylon the Great, America, for what it has done to Damascus. They are going to make this place, Babylon the Great, desolate. And I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus, and it shall consume the palaces of Ben-Hadad. And Ben-Hadad is a term for the leader of Syria, so it's really talking about Bashar al-Assad, who is pretty much the leader of Syria. So we know that the drums of this war have been beating, and that you know, they're ready to go in and go after Assad, no matter what Putin says. You know, they're even willing to put sanctions on Russia just to go after Bashar al-Assad, ultimately to go after Iran. You know, and we could see that happening. But, you know, this great and terrible day is coming quickly. And so I'll jump back into Joel chapter 2, verse 15. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast call, a solemn assembly. Gather people, Sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children and those that suck the breast, let the bridegroom go forth his chamber and the bride out of her closet. And that's what's happening now. Starting with the elders and apostles, a great millstone, this great gathering, and all that has been happening for quite a while, as we're doing our best to try to reach the hopeful elect, trying to go into every city and declare this word upon the streets, because that's part of it. Before a kingdom is taken down, we go out and declare that out on the streets. You know, and I had to take a rebuke most recently. I had both my channels taken down because, you know, I wasn't out here on the streets. You know, I was kind of waiting for other people to gather. No, man, I got to do this myself. You know, I can't just wait until Babylon the Great is destroyed, and then when he cometh that I have done no work. So I took it as a rebuke when I seen that video, and so this is in response to, you know, pretty much stop making excuses, go out there and teach. So I'm pretty much, like others have brought out, I'm going to sound like a parrot. So we know that plantation Christianity has been the deception of the whole world, that this is it, you know, and, you know, we've been subject to pretty much worship Cesare Borgia of the Borgia family, which we know that this is their false image. And so, well, you know, this is what really opened my eyes, because I kind of knew all along that this was a false image, you know, of him anyways. But, you know, I'm going to read Revelation chapter 1, verse 13, because this summed it all up for me, you know. In verse 13, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. Does any of these images of Cesare Borgia show him with the golden girdle? No, absolutely not. So that's already wrong there. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Do any of these Cesare Borgia images match that part? No, absolutely not. His feet were like unto fine brass, as if burned through a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. Again, does any of the images of Cesare Borgia match this description? A dark-skinned man with white woolly hair. Doesn't match Cesare Borgia at all, does it? No, of course not. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, Fear not, I am the first and the last. So, this is giving you a distinction on what Yahweh Shai, who the world likes to ignorantly call Jesus Christ, looks like. And Jesus Christ is only a title. It means blessed anointed. Would you really just walk up to somebody and say, hey, blessed anointed, hey, blessed anointed? No, of course, this is an insult. Just like you wouldn't go to a Levitical priest and say, hey, priest, what's up, priest? No, you wouldn't. He has a name, and his name is Yahweh Shai, and his father's name is Yahweh. So we got to stop calling him by these false names as well. And all these other camps out here, they don't teach the truth. They don't teach in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshai. They know the name, and previously used to teach, but they're not now. Why? Because they've been paid off. And because they just, it wasn't meant for them to receive this truth. And of course we got other things happening concerning the mark of the beast and the RFID implementation. That's about to soon happen, as this Wisconsin company has already tested it and you know, is now in effect. Eventually it will no longer be on a volunteer basis. So pretty much go ahead and start here. He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead. This is the RFID technology. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Again, we're talking about the fact that they now want to implement this microchip to everyone, you know, because of more security, you know, to track down the illegals for whatever other reasons. They want to sell you on this. Oh, it has all your medical information, you know, that, you know, now you can just, you know, they don't have to look for the records anymore. They have it all on that chip. And they want you to take this chip. Here is wisdom. Let he that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So, you know, this has been happening for quite some time, you know. People have been warning about this. Thus, it started with Great Millstone, but even Edomites have been warning about this one. The RFID will soon be mandatory. You know, the military is already using it. You know, they've used it in Operation Iraqi Freedom, which everything that this place says that it does quite the opposite. You know, that it's not freedom at all that they're pushing, that it's really slavery. You know, but they were using the microchip, you know, in as far back as that. You know, Joe Biden had made it quite clear that you will rule on that one day. You know, this microchip will be mandatory. And of course, we're dealing with the high elites of Esau, Edom. We're dealing with the Amalekites, those people that Saul was asked to slew, but he didn't do it. He didn't finish it. So when Yahushua comes back, he's going to have to finish what King Saul wouldn't do. And so this is what we are declaring on the streets right now, you know, the true men of Great Millstone, because we're the only camp that's teaching about this, you know, about what the true mark of the beast. No, it's not plantation Christianity. No, it's not the worship of Cesare Borgia. It is, in fact, this microchip, because this is the only thing that eliminates being able to buy, sell, or trade, and everything's pushed towards that. So, Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. Here are the consequences if you take that RFID chip, especially if you're an Israelite, and you take that mark, which is to be like God, you know, because Esau declares himself to be God. And the third angel followed them with a loud voice, saying, If any man worship the beast and its image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, and again, his image is, a.k.a. We're fighting for freedom, you know, all the images they sell you about Babylon the Great, America. If you worship that, or you worship the EU, the UN, NATO, you believe in that, you know. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. That indignation is these nuclear weapons. That is the cup of wrath of his indignation. And it shall come upon Babylon the Great first, but this thing's going to blow up worldwide. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Again, this is when Yahushua comes back to gather his elect, but also to make war against Babylon the Great, when America is destroyed by a third of the angels, Yahushua himself, and by these thermonuclear missiles. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they shall have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. And so we know that this is about to happen, and we've been warning about this for a long time. We're sounding the alarm, blowing ye the trumpet. Here in the mountain, we are that holy mountain. We are Mount Zion, and we're saying it unto Mount Sinai that in fact your whole system is about to go down. I think most people know now that the American dream is over. This place has fallen. That there's no jobs, there's no economy. This place is a joke, but a lot of people still want to party like it's 1999. You know, they want to just keep on going and doing whatever, and don't even want to even acknowledge that this is end times, you know. People just ain't watching. You know, they'll watch the football game, they'll watch everything else, but they won't even pay attention to what's happening, you know. So again, you know, America is about to be destroyed. And there should be more of us going out here and teaching this. But, you know, as it says before, the laborers are so few. So if I'm the only one, well then I'd better do it. Because I don't want to be judged by this too. Because, you know, we know that Esau is going to be judged. But 2/3 of Israel is going to be judged right along with Esau. That you can't tell the difference between the 2/3 or the Edomites. That they're all one and the same, that they have the same spirit. We're not talking about what they look like. We're just talking about that spirit. And you can't tell because you have confusion of face Edomites just as much that look like Jakes. You know? So again, you know, the 2/3 and Esau are one and the same. And so this cup of wrath that America, Babylon the Great, the philosophies and the teachings that they do, they act like they're the greatest country in the world, you know, because they've been allowed to survive this long. They go out and they destroy countries, and then they say they're fighting freedom. But yes, the rest of the world knows that this is the great Satan. And so, you know, here's another one, you know, because this is the day of the Lord. This is the day that Babylon the Great shall be no more. Revelation chapter 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, that is the Edomites, and hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drank of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And I just explained that a minute ago. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundances of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. And that's what we're trying to do, is wake up our people to come out of this Babylon system. That, no man, don't be making any future for your kids. This place is about to be destroyed. It has no hope. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. He remembers everything. That's why it's brought up in Jeremiah 49. You know how it says that, you know, one day 1,000 years, and 1,000 years one day. So it was just yesterday that they were slaughtering all our people. They made us to drink of that wine of wrath. You know, they went into our villages, burned them. And this place is going to be burned with fire the same way that they had burned our villages. There shall be no spoils left here. This place is going to be desolate, just like the scripture is saying right here. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works in the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no more sorrow. Again, everybody thinks that this American empire is going to last forever. And it will be taken down. It just happened to last a little bit longer than a lot of empires, but it's going to go down just like all the others did, just like Egypt did. And this is the place aside of Egypt spiritually. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord Yahweh who judgeth her. And again, this is talking about the nuclear judgment, as well as 1/3 of the angels were coming from them ships, destroying this place. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning. Again, you know, talking about that thermonuclear war. Alas, alas, the great city Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour has thy judgment come. And we know that this is all gearing up, you know. And all these nations are starting to turn on Babylon the Great, because there's no need to be in Syria anymore. You know, Turkey has recently turned because they have no more reason to be there. They're making deals with Putin. Why? Because of the fact that, you know, America doesn't deliver on its promises. It makes lots of promises, never delivers. And these other nations know it. They only go along with Babylon for so long. And then they just like, well, if only had someone strong enough in defenses, we could stand up to her. And they see what Putin's doing. You know, they see that Putin is not going along with the program anymore. That Putin has turned against the UN, NATO. You know, that he's not a puppet that they can control anymore. You know, and ultimately, he has been protecting Syria from these tyrants, from ISIS, which are really Edomites dressed and made to look like that they're Ishmaelites, aka Muslims, but are really just Edomites, because the whole ISIS thing has been a hoax, as if you didn't know. Pretty much, it's the Edomites. The Edomites are ISIS. And so, pretty much the world sees that for what it is. There really is no war against ISIS. That ISIS is a proxy army of the United States. Even Bashar al-Assad himself has said it, that it's a proxy army of the United States. You know, and pretty much, you know, who is America to say that Bashar al-Assad must step down? Who are they? You know, again, America has been the hammer of the whole earth, who has been telling all the rest of the world how to live. And these nations are getting tired of it, because Yahweh himself, through Yahushai, has been stirring up these countries to come against Babylon the Great, so that it be found no more, and that they lay this place desolate. And we're seeing that right before our eyes. But again, most people they just rather sit down, watch the Super Bowl, you know, watch the so-called news, which is really bullshit. You know, as if you didn't know that the Sandy Hook shooting never happened. You know, that was all bullshit. It was all a staged event. That pretty much the whole world's been a stage. Everything we've been taught has been a lie. Pretty much, you know. History is not what they taught us. They don't teach you anything. They just pretty much teach you how to take shit. It's all about taking shit, you know, and being full of shit. Because that's what Esau is. He was a liar from the beginning. So all of this is about to go down in that great city, Babylon the Great. And soon, the whole world's going to see it. They're already seeing many things take place. But again, you know, the rest of the world knows what's going on. The rest of the world even knows that those that call themselves Jews are not the real Israelites, that those are the Khazars. They even have this information. There's another Muslim out of Pakistan that already has this information and tells you about Khazaria, you know, and even talks about Magog and Gog and this whole area, which is right there in Tashkent and all these places that are near Russia. Revelation refers to it as the Valley of Jehoshaphat. That's the areas there. And he shall come from the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog. And so we know that when Esau came back to power, thus when Satan was loosed out of his prison, he went into the four quarters of the earth to deceive the world, Gog and Magog. And it started right there. Magog is Russia, we know that. But the areas of Gog, we know that that's the areas where Michelangelo and, of course, Leonardo da Vinci started taking down art paintings, started painting their own images, you know. They went as far as to change even the musicians, such as Mozart and Amadeus, put white images up there. And Beethoven, you know, changing the image of King James, changing all the faces of the Israelites, showing that they had conquered Israel, that Israel being remembered no more, you know. And then just put their images up, you know. Just about every movie that they're going to do on the Bible shows Esau. Shows Esau as the Egyptians. Shows Esau as the Greeks. Shows Esau. And we do know that Esau is the Roman Empire. And that the Grecians were subdued by Esau. That's why, you know, you only see the Edomites there. Because we know that the real Grecians are the Somalians today. You know, because that's where they fled away to. But that's another topic for another day. The fact is that Esau has shown that he is God by taking down our images and putting up theirs, because that's why we teach in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. We don't teach in the name of God or Jesus Christ, because the moment you hear that name Jesus Christ, you immediately go to that image of Cesare Borgia. And I already told you that that's a title anyways, that Jesus Christ really means blessed anointed. Cesare Borgia is not the blessed anointed, by the way. Pretty much, he's part of that Rockefeller Rothschild family, the higher elite of Amalekites. And Amalek, that's going to be destroyed too. All these places are about to be destroyed by the Most High. Pretty much, you know, everything you've been taught has been a lie. Everything that this word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai says, it differs with what we've been taught, you know. If he's going to destroy a place, then how can he go, why would he go and save the whole world if he was going to destroy it? Doesn't make any sense, right? Because the word world means peoples or of a nation. So when John 3:16 is referring to he so loved the world, he's really saying, for he so loved his people, that his people through him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. But you see, Esau teaches us a different doctrine, because they take that word world, and they think that he's here to save everybody. You know, they preach that love message, you know. You know, that he's just a cool hunk of burning love, you know. He's like Elvis, you know, or better yet, you know, like that song, come on people now, get together, everybody try and love one another right now. They teach you that that's what the Son of Man saith, and that's not what he's saying at all in these scriptures that I read. Does that sound like love to you, or does that sound like, he has a love for certain people, for an elect, but he has a lot of hate for the rest, because of their wickedness and their evil doings. Because 2/3 of our people don't want to repent and come back to him. They want to do everything else. And they want to follow all these other philosophies, thus eating the forbidden fruit, thus eating of that tree of good, of knowledge of good and evil. And what is that tree? Is it a physical tree? No. It's when you go into these other places and other nations and other peoples, and you start believing and teaching their philosophies, such as Islam and Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, all these false religions of the world, or even just pretty much atheism, if you will, just not believing that there is a balance at all in power, you know. Well, I may actually be out here while this eclipse is starting, as it's starting to get a little bit dark here, you know. But either way, though, it's time to go out there and teach. You know, I've taken the rebuke for what it is, and that I would go out here and teach, you know. And this may or may not be the permanent street that I stay on, but I'll at least do it once a week, you know. I know what's required of me, you know. You know, that it's not enough that I just make videos back at home and sit behind a keyboard, as the other brother has brought out. It's time that I go out there and teach, you know. Hey, I wish that I had more labor, somebody to hold signs up and all that. But it's just me here, with a selfie stick and a Bible, and me uttering the voice. Babylon the Great has fallen, You know, just like what they're about to do to Damascus, this place will be laid desolate. She will have nowhere to flee, because this place is going to be utterly burned with fire. And so are all the others that partaken and drinking of that cup of Babylon the Great. Those other places are going to be destroyed too. Again, 1/3 of the heavens were burnt up. 1/3 of the trees were burnt up. It's right there in Revelation 8. So, you know, and then you got that 200,000. What's that talking about? Well, that's talking about them nuclear missiles. The nuclear missiles that are going to destroy this place. No, it's not a 200 million man army. That doesn't even make any sense, because, let's face it, a lot of people wouldn't even sign up for that bullshit. You know, a lot of people don't want their son to die in a war for these fucking goddamn elitists, you know. Even the Edomites know who the fucking Illuminati is. You mentioned the word Illuminati. A lot of them do know who the fuck the Illuminati is. And no, man, they wouldn't send their fucking son or daughter to fucking die for them, you know. And you got all kinds of wickedness over here, you know. You got so many other philosophies going on here. Again, you know, people don't heed the warnings.